we get to design our lives, we get to design our businesses, and we get to design how they run. And I think it's old school thinking that we need to work 9 to 5 in order to be successful. I think it's old school thinking that we have to constantly be hustling in order to be successful. There's so many ways to be successful that doesn't take as much time off of you. Welcome to the Bold Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Kinal, and this is a space where bold moves meet inspired action. Join us as we dive into stories, strategies, and mindset of those who are building their dreams, creating impactful communities, and redefining success on their terms. Whether you're looking for practical business tips, a boost of inspiration, or a community that gets your vision, you are in the right place. Get ready to elevate your journey and embrace what it means to be a bold founder. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Bold Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Kinal, and today we are diving into the foundation of building a business that truly supports your vision, your energy, and your freedom. I do find that so many entrepreneurs get caught up in building a business, but then the business ends up owning them and they just spend all their time working on the business. And we kind of lose sight of the reason why we built the business. And it should really be the other way around. That is why we built these businesses for ourselves, so that we could gain more freedom. We could have more financial freedom. We could have family time. So today I'm sharing with you my blueprint for creating a business that aligns with your life, fuels your energy, and allows you to grow without the burnout. My first thing that I really truly believe in is that if you want to create a business that is going to really go the distance and work for you, not the other way around, it's really important to have multiple income streams. And that is because if one ever goes, then the other one is there to support you. And if you've ever heard my story about how many pivots I've had to go through and how many changes I've gone through where my business has completely disappeared or shifted or changed, you know that having it's almost like having a backup plan. When you diversify your income streams, you've got income coming from multiple different places. It kind of when one goes down, you're still supported by the others. And so I think this has become something I've really valued after having so many things change in my income and in my businesses and what I'm doing. And so I think it's really, really important for you to start thinking about that. So when I was an event planner, I just did events. And then when events disappeared, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how I'm going to support myself. I didn't have those other businesses going on or other parts of my business going on in the background to have been able to support me. So that is really, really important. And this is from a past experience that was not fun to go through. But I really hope that you take away from this that maybe you should start looking at how you can diversify. So that could be online sales, that could be creating programs, it could be doing masterminds, it could be it really could be anything. So a couple of the things that I use to diversify my income streams is one, I have my social media agency, so I have multiple different clients. So the nice thing about that is by having multiple different clients, if one decides they no longer want to work with me or they want to take social media in-house, then that is still okay because I have my other clients. So it's not all my eggs in one basket. That's really, really important to think about because we do not want one thing to take us completely out. Okay, the second side of, actually there's multiple sides. So the second one I'm going to talk about is my events and masterminds. So I don't do as many events anymore. I'm really, really pick and choosing the events that I do. I host my own event, the Be Bold Experience. I work with Selena Gray on her Trailblazer Live event, which is amazing. Also, the Be Bold Experience is amazing. But I also host masterminds and workshops and stuff like that so that I'm able to teach people how they can create their own events. So not only do I have the agency, which is my main solid business, but now I've got other areas that I'm able to grow my business and still create some income through. And then the third one that I really focus on is digital products and courses. So I have a few online courses, and then I'm in the process of making some digital products templates for anyone who's planning their own events. I just want to make it so much easier. I have so much knowledge in the event industry, and I know how to plan an event so that it's smooth, but it also really aligns with your branding, your vision, your why, what you want your audience to learn from. And so I have all three of those so that no matter what, if something happens to one, I have other areas, one, to focus on, to keep my business and revenue going, but I have other revenue streams coming in that are supported. So they're not all even in the sense that like I said, my main business is the social media agency. But if something were to happen, like the event world, then I would still have my masterminds or my digital products, right? I don't want to put all my eggs in the one basket. So I really think you should take a moment to identify some new revenue opportunities for yourself that align with your expertise. And so I added in that last part, align with your expertise, because we really need to think about what our superpowers are. And this has become more and more aware to me as I've grown in business and developed businesses and courses. We need to know what our superpowers are. And sometimes we forget what our superpowers are because they're so like ingrained in us. They're our normal. And we don't realize that most people don't understand that. So if I go back to the event planning business, I know events like the back of my hand. I could ramble on forever about how to plan an event. But the person who does not plan events or does not plan their weddings, they don't know. They don't know what the cost of flowers is. They don't know what to look for in a contract. They don't know that there is little loopholes that they're going to put in the contract that you need to look out for. They don't know how to work with vendors or what to look for when they're actually hiring a specific vendor in terms of, do I take this package as is or can I adjust it and customize it to exactly what I want? They also don't know like the logistics behind an event and the day of timeline and how we can make sure we can schedule this all so that it runs smoothly so that there is no issues that arise on the day of. And if there is, we have a team who has a backup plan, who has like a sheet of paper that says, here's all my contacts for every single person. If something goes wrong, that you can call and be like, hey, DJ, where are you? You're not here. Hey, florist, we're missing a centerpiece. Like, these are the things that I like, no, and I love, but sometimes to me, they just seem so like everybody should know this, but we forget that they are our superpowers. So we know the ins and outs of them, and a lot of people don't. And so if you're listening to this, I know a lot of people don't know events. I know they don't. It took me a long time to understand that though. So really think about what your superpower is. And it's sometimes we need to ask other people. I've done this. I still do this. Sometimes you forget what you're really good at or what people see you known for. And you're like, oh yeah, I guess I could talk about that. Like, oh yeah, I guess I could talk about social media. Oh yeah, I guess I could talk about the influencer world and contracting in terms of like working with influencers and collaborations and all those details, right? What are you known for? What does your audience want to see from you? And really think about those when you're identifying your superpowers. And then take those superpowers and see how you can create something with them. Can you create a digital product? Can you create something that is a mastermind or a workshop? Or I kind of like, I'm really loving the idea of like creating templates right now. I just feel like my energy is so limited that I want to make sure that I have something for my audience to be able to like invest in and dive into and learn more that doesn't take a lot of my energy. And so we'll talk more about this later, but I definitely think that really thinking about what kind of reoccurring revenue, keep that in mind because that's important too, or what kind of offerings you can create to help support your business. So again, this is like safety and protection for yourself. It's also really nice for your nervous system to know that you have multiple areas of income coming in and it's not all in one basket. And I'm telling you, that feels so good coming from someone who's had all her eggs in one basket and then had to like pivot because it all disappeared at once. So please, if you take anything from today, really think about how you can diversify your income and bring in multiple income streams. And again, they don't need to be even across the board. They don't need to have, one can be like every once in a while you market it. Every once in a while you open up your masterclass, but it is still something that's extra. And, or it could just be like bonus money. Like whenever you open up a masterclass, that money gets used for your vacation because it's not continuous revenue. It just kind of comes whenever you open that up and then it's gone again after it's done. So think about like really just how you can do that for your business. The next thing I want to talk about is really creating a business that supports your lifestyle. We often as entrepreneurs build this business because we want the freedom. We don't want to be stuck in 9 to 5. We don't want to go into an office unless you create your own office and then it's amazing, but we don't want to work for somebody else. And so the biggest mistakes that we build or that we create in business is that we end up building a business that just consumes all of us, all of our time, our identity, our family time, our energy. And it's very easy to fall into that. I mean, think about when you first started your business, or even when I was younger. I had like so much time and so much energy to really devote to building my baby. It was like I loved it. I loved doing everything about it. But I've come to a point in my life now where I don't have the same energy. So it's really important for me to pause and really decide what's important in my business and intentionally design my business to support where I'm at and where I want to go. And so that could be figuring out, like, do we need to create a business that has a little bit more time freedom? For me personally, I needed a little bit more time freedom in the sense that I always put business first, like always. And so I would not work out unless I worked out in the morning. And I use workout as an example because it's what I'm doing right now. And it makes me feel so much more energetic and alive. And I think it just really helps me mentally. And so I would, for the longest time, put that off because I had so much to do. I had a big to-do list. I had to get it done. That was my priority, get it done. And my self-care got put off to the side. So instead of getting energized and feeling good about myself, because I would put time into making like self-care, into taking care of myself, but also doing something that I love to do, and then devoted it all to work. And so it really took all my time and all my energy. And by the time I was done at the end of the day, I would like collapse on the couch and be like, I'm just tired to even move. Like I just can't even do anything. And what I've learned from now adding working out into my schedule, and I say this in terms of the time freedom because my rule used to be that I would work out in the morning, like before everyone was up. That was the time I could work out because it never interfered with my work. And then when I started having a little bit of a lack of energy, I wasn't able to do that anymore because I just couldn't get myself out of bed. I was just too tired, too burnt out. This is a big topic for me right now, is the whole burnout like burnout feeling, burnout energy, burnout, like just not having it, not being able to keep up anymore. And so I ended up moving my workouts into later. So I typically work out from 9 till 10-ish, maybe a little bit before. And that was a big change for me because for me, like that was my office hours. I was in the office at 9 o'clock. And so changing that to allow myself an extra hour in the morning that didn't take away from my sleep because I knew I needed it so badly is time freedom for myself, right? Like that is something that's really, really important to me to be able to create that time. It also really is important to me that I have this business that gives me the freedom to like drive my kids to school, pick them up, drop them off, go to all their sports, potentially take Fridays off so I can play pickleball. Like I don't do every single Friday, but I really want that as my option to be able to do that. So time freedom, or the freedom to travel. Like we all know how much I love to travel. And so just the freedom to be able to escape and go somewhere and know that my business is taken care of, my work is done. It's just such an incredible feeling, and not having to ask anybody for that time. I absolutely adore it. Like I can make my business the way I want to. So think about what aligns with you, your dreams, your goals, your life goals, your family goals. How is your business contributing to that, or how is it taking away from that? And then really define what you want and then see how you can make it happen. Like I said, if I go back to that workout example, I didn't want to work out during my work hours because I didn't feel like I would have enough time to get everything done. The flip side of that is when I work out during those times, one, I'm not getting up early and being exhausted. Two, I'm doing it when like the sun is coming in and it's so beautiful. It's not dark out. So I love that part of it too. But also I'm so much more effective because it energizes you, gets you going. It feels so good. I'm so much more effective in my job. I feel good. My mood is lifted, which means when I'm writing captions for my social media clients, I'm like, I'm in the groove. I can just feel like the energy of what their message, their voice, and their branding sounds like. This is social media talk, but it really makes a massive difference. And the funny thing is, I don't actually lose out on my productivity. I become more productive and also achieve more. If I've achieved the exact same amount, if not more, by taking that extra hour. And so I really want you to think about your time in the sense of, what do you really, really want? Not what is expected of you or what are the expectations you're putting on yourself. Like I said, I had that 9 to 5 sort of model in my head, or 9 till I drove to pick the kids up model in my head. And you get to choose that. That is the beauty of owning your own business. Another part that I want you to think about is your creative flexibility. So for me personally, I am such a creative person. I love like being creative, but I also know that there's some boundaries on that. So when I went to school, like I went to school for a graphic designer, and I know that being a full-time graphic designer is not for me. It's just not what I can do, because I love being creative, but it's almost like creative overload. Like I cannot be that creative, because then I have burnout creativity and I kind of like lose my creativity. And so making time for creative flexibility for me was really important. So even when I do my social media agency, I have a amazing graphic designer on my team who does help me with the graphics, because if I do all the graphics and the marketing, and if you do it all, you're going to burn out. But if I do too much like creative work, I know that I'm not going to be creating at my best. And I know that she's incredible and I value her so much. And so really looking at that creative, for me, creative flexibility in my business was an important thing, to find something that fit my lifestyle, because I've also worked jobs where there is zero creativity, and then you're just craving some sort of outlet. And so you create more things. And so figuring out, for me, creativity was really important, but how much? Not too much and not too little. And then the last part that I really want to talk about is your space for your family, for travel, for self-care. We really want to make sure that our businesses allow for us to do the things that are important to me and important to you. We want to make sure that, yeah, if they've got a hockey tournament on the weekend, I want to be there. I don't want to be stuck in my office, or I want to go a day early so then I can enjoy the hot tub in the pool before it's overrun with hockey kids. And so just making time for you to be able to do that, or making time for you to be able to say, I'm going to escape a little bit earlier on spring break and we are going to go have an amazing time. We're going to go explore Mexico, or we're going to explore Banff, or we're going to do whatever we want. But I want to have that freedom to be like, yes. And I know when I was in the event industry, I did not have that freedom, because events are scheduled, they're planned far in advance, but they're typically during the summer hours. So I really wanted to make sure that I had that freedom. And let's say you are in the event industry, or in an industry where it is a little bit more seasonal like that, and you do have to work during those specific times. Okay, well then how can we have our travel freedom when we're not in that busy season? Like where can we put our travel so that we still get the travel that we're craving and loving, but it doesn't interfere? Or maybe we have to book things a little bit further in advance for ourselves so that we can make sure that in the busy season we have like a week off where we just get to like breathe and relax and enjoy summer, right? So really think about what you want in terms of your business and in terms of your life. Because like I said, and I'll say it over and over again, we get to design our lives, we get to design our businesses, and we get to design how they run. And I think it's old school thinking that we need to work 9 to 5 in order to be successful. I think it's old school thinking that we have to constantly be hustling in order to be successful. There's so many ways to be successful that doesn't take as much time off of you. And like I said previously about the diversifying your income, maybe some of those don't require as much of you and your energy. Like I talked about the templates. I love the idea of creating like templates for your client, because then they're already created. It's all your knowledge and information in one easy to handle like bundle of information, like bundle template. And so think about things like that, like how can you implement that in so that you are able to think about more travel, self-care, and family time, and have that for yourself. So I want you to really ask yourself, is your business working for you? Or is it working against you? Is it supporting your goals and what you want out of life, or is it not? And if it's not, what are the things that we can do to shift it and to shift our business so that we work in alignment, right? I've definitely had lots of years of experiences in multiple different businesses, and it changes with every business, and it changes with every different part of our life that we're in. And so really just sit in your moment and think about it. What do I need? What do I want? What am I craving more of? And what is my business giving me? And what is it not? And if it's not giving you something you want, what can we do to adjust that so that we can get more of what we want in our lives? Because we want that freedom to choose, to create, and to build a business and life that we love, right? Okay, so now that we've asked ourselves the question, what is it that like we're not doing or what is it that we are doing? I want you to really think about the steps that you need to take in order to get your business into alignment, to like get to where you want to be, right? So maybe it's setting boundaries with your work hours and client expectations. I've had in previous years clients that were very demanding of me and really wanted my attention on their hours and on their timeline. But the thing is, when you do that, it burns you out pretty quickly if it's not aligning with your hours and your timeline. So really think about what are the boundaries you need to put in place with yourself and your clients to be able to create the life you want. Like, I did not want to be reached after 5 o'clock. If you had something for me to do, why not give it to me before? I have no problem scheduling out your content, but it needs to be before work hours, because at 5 o'clock, I want to be with my family. I want to be able to hang out. I want to be able to have dinner and not have to pick up my phone and do something on it because that's my job, right? Like, how can we create some boundaries for ourselves and for our clients that will help us? And one of the things I want to talk about, like I talked about the client side of it and creating boundaries for the client and saying, okay, after 5, I'm not available. Fine. How are we doing that with ourselves? Because it's really easy to say that and implement that with our client. Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes it takes a long time for them to understand that boundary. But how can we implement that for ourselves? Because I am also one of those people who used to work at nighttime. Like, I'd be like, oh, I didn't get enough done today. I really want to get this done. And so I'd work. Or I have a new project that I'm working on. So in the evening, I'm going to finish it off while I'm like sitting with my family. That is still work creeping into your personal time. And yes, sometimes I would be like, well, it's my thing. Like, I want to work on this. It's fun. That's okay if you're okay with that. But don't allow yourself to creep into the time that your body and your family and your mind needs. So for example, if I'm sitting on the couch working and doing some things that I need to get done, one, I'm taking time away from my family, but also there is no stop when it comes to like the work hours and office hours. So yes, like my home office is here and I am sitting in it, but when I leave those doors at like 5 o'clock, my office needs to shut off. And that's very, very hard as an entrepreneur, as we all know, because our minds are just constantly going. We are in like thought mode of how we can create things better, how we can do the next steps we can do, what we should launch next. We're constantly thinking. But that constant thinking and that never ending work hour actually burns you out. And like, as somebody who is working her way through burnout right now, you really need to create some boundaries for yourself and say, you know what, after 5 o'clock, I'm not going to be available for my clients. I'm not going to be available to check my email or respond to emails. I'm not going to be on even just for me, like, I'm not going to be on social media because social media is my work. And I like it and I love it, but sometimes when you work in social media and you're on social media for fun after, that there's no line anymore. And so I would get really tired of social media, and I wasn't enjoying it as much because I spent so much time on it. But also my mind needed the break. It needed the break, even though it was like a fun time for me and my stuff that I got to dive into. It was like being overstimulated, basically. And so think about what you personally need and set some boundaries for yourself and your clients. And I think that was really like overdrawn and long, but I really think that that is a really hard line for entrepreneurs to figure out, especially with ourselves, what we need to do and the boundaries we need to draw so that we are having really good quality family time or really good quality self-care time. I think if we don't do that, it's a stepping stone towards getting burnt out and from a stepping stone away from the things that are important to us and that we value. Another thing I want you to start thinking about when it comes to shifting your business and your alignment is to prioritize your high impact offers over trading more time for money, right? So I've definitely thought about this over and over and over again. And again, as a person who has is coming out of burnout right now, I think really thinking about what is important and really putting focus on those over your other areas is really, really important. And I'll give you an example. And this is a very new, fresh example. And so I have my community, the Bold Founders community, and I love the community. I love the women in it. I love the time we get together, the conversations that are had. I love seeing them like bond together and them socializing outside of the community and supporting each other on socials, and just seeing them get out of their comfort zones and really challenge themselves. This community meant so much to me. But when you're really burnt out and tired, and sometimes it can just be too much. And so I had to really decide, like, I'm burnt out. I need to really focus in on my high impact offers, which is my social media agency. I really need to focus on those clients, delivering the best that I can for them, and not on the Bold Founders community. So it was a really tough decision, but I decided it was time to close the Bold Founders community, because I was like, you're making a certain amount and you're putting in all this energy and all this time. And that's the thing. It was so much time and so much of my energy put into it, but also my personal expectations, or my expectations that I thought the group might have, back onto myself. And so I was trading a lot of time for money, but also like a lot of time for energy, because like I said, maybe it's that little bit of that perfectionist inside me who really always wants to deliver the best and always wants it to be incredible and have them like just love being part of this community. Like, I am very much so that person that likes to wrap their arms around you when you come and when you work with me, when you're in my community, when you're part of my like group. But sometimes that can like backfire on me, probably because I'm a little bit of that perfectionist, that type A personality. So I really had to take a step back and prioritize what was my high impact offers and what was taking up too much energy for me, that I just couldn't do it all. And at the beginning of the year, I was like, nope, I'm doing it all. I'm not willing to lose anything. I just can't. I just love what I do, and I'm just going to keep doing it all, and it'll work itself out, until the point where it did not work itself out and I just couldn't do it anymore. I just didn't have the energy to keep up. And so as much as I like love the community, I also knew that it was my time to set a boundary with myself, that I can't keep doing all these things that tug me in so many ways, but that really, like, as much as I love doing it, it also really took a lot of energy from me from doing it, and time from doing it, but really just that emotional energy of like creating the expectation of this incredible community that I loved and what was valuable to them. Even though they, from what I've heard from everybody and all the polls I've done, they loved it. I still put that pressure on myself. And so I really wanted to give that as an example. That one's still kind of a fresh example for me. So it was a little bit hard to share that one. But I do think that really thinking about what is important to you and what is your top offers, and making sure those are priority, and that we are no longer trading time for money, because we only have a limited amount of time during the day. We only have a limited amount of energy, which is probably why I'm focusing more on like the template side, because I really want to be able to continue to support my community and to help them and to be part of like what they're growing and creating, because that's my love. But at what cost? So just think about that for yourselves, and then think about what is important, what you need, what you don't need, and then adjust so that it aligns with your goals and your dreams for yourself, your business, and your family. Okay, and then the last one I want to talk about when it comes to aligning your business is automating and delegating to create ease. I'm laughing because I feel like I have so many examples to share on this, but for example, I am such a type A person. Why would I hire someone when I can do it myself, and I can do it just as quick? It's going to take me a longer time to teach somebody how to do this than if I could just do it myself. And that was my mantra for forever, because I just didn't, it's not that I couldn't afford it, or I wasn't able to hire someone. I just knew that it's going to take me a while to like write the stuff that needs to be done, or who am I going to find the person that is going to create the graphics as good as I can, and how am I going to find them, and like all the reasons we can tell ourselves for why we shouldn't do this. There's so many incredible reasons for why you should. And until I've actually gone ahead and hired people on my team was when I was like, okay, this makes perfect sense. Even like I said, with the graphic designer, I can do it myself, like, and probably faster on my own timeline. Well, she's actually really fast, but I can do it all on my own timeline when I want it done, because I'm very, like, I want it done now. But By giving it to somebody else, one, I can say, okay, you're going to create the graphics for this client and I'm going to go work on the next client. And then I can have those graphics ready for her to create, right? And so instead of me doing it all, which would take way more time, I can create it, give her a blueprint for what she needs to get done, and then I can go on to the next one. So it's way more efficient and way more easy and way better on my creative soul and energy. But you really need to start thinking about what ways can you create and automate so that you're not always hands-on and it gives you more time and more freedom. And sometimes that means like bringing someone on and allowing them to learn and to grow with you, but also to really appreciate the fact that you've given yourself this gift of some more time, of some more energy, of having somebody remarkable come into your business and support you. And even though like they could be the exact same thing as you, like a graphic designer, that doesn't mean that they're not like that you're not going to benefit from them. I benefit so much from that. And on the other side, they always say to bring in somebody who's stronger in an area than where you're weaker, right? So that way you kind of complement each other. So there's that side of it too. But really start to think about what areas in your business can you start to delegate? What areas can you automate? Automation is my favorite thing. For somebody who's on social media all the time, I use ManyChat because I find it so much easier to be able to automate and automatically send in a DM the link to whatever it is that I'm talking about. I also think from a user perspective, when someone does that for me, I love that so much more because then I don't have to search through your profile and through all your stuff to find the exact link that I want. So anyways, that's just the social media standpoint, but there's emails, there is so many things you can automate in your business, and I encourage you to do so because anything you can do to take yourself out of doing the work constantly manually is incredible. All right, the next topic is all about avoiding burnout and scaling with intention. And so, as I've said multiple times, over, I would say November is when I kind of started to get the burnout feeling. Like, I feel like it's been creeping up for quite a while, but in November I was like, I just can't, I'm like done. And I went on vacation, I came back and I felt really good. And then like you kind of get back after vacation, you get back into the mode, you're feeling energized, you're ready to go. And then it started creeping back in again. And so I think the important thing is to really start to recognize it before it really takes over. And luckily, like I recognized it when I was just really, really tired and had a hard time, like just getting through the day because I just had no energy. I had none. And so that's really important to recognize it because luckily I think that that's a pretty, like probably could have recognized it earlier and adjusted it. But I've heard of so many people who get sick because they don't recognize it. And then they have like problems with their health that they have to deal with. Like it's rock bottom sort of thing. And that's when they're like, I need to make a life change. I made a life change when I was just really, really low energy and having a really hard time keeping up with everything that I was doing. And so really thinking about what it is in your life that is draining you, or maybe you're putting a lot of energy into, but it's not giving you the result that you hope for or that you want out of it. And so just aligning your life to make sure that everything is, like I said before earlier, that everything is going with what your goals are. It's creating that recurring revenue for you, but making sure that it's aligned with like your energy levels. Because like I said, I had the Bold Founders community that was part of my multiple income streams. And I had to say no to that because I just couldn't do it anymore. And so when we talk about staying energized while having multiple ventures or revenue streams, I want you to think of a couple things. Are you prioritizing joy and fulfillment in your business decisions? So for me, like, yeah, I loved what I was doing, but I did not have, like, when you're so busy doing all the things and you're trying to just keep up and you're constantly feeling behind, like I always felt behind. I always felt like I was chasing and never felt like accomplished or like I had done a good job because I was so in that hustle culture of like, go, 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 create, next check mark, no celebration. We have to move on to the next thing, that I just kind of lost the joy and the fulfillment in it. And so that was another reason to really look at, like, is this still working for me? Is this something that I should continue doing? Is it keeping my energy up, or is it really pulling away from it? And then another thing that I wanted to throw in here was, how are you structuring your week to optimize your energy levels? So this kind of goes into a little bit of what I talked about when making time to work out in the morning. I was not structuring it originally to have that time, and I've started to structure it and really value that time. But also, like, maybe there's a point in your day where you just like conk out. Like, I would conk out at like 1 every single day, basically. My energy was just gone. So what can we do to structure our day a little bit different to optimize that? Maybe it just means that at 12 we have a lunch break, and at 1 we do a little bit of a meditation to feel better. Or maybe we do like office yoga where we like do our yoga. I'm at home, so I could do normal yoga. But if you're in an office, maybe you do like office yoga so that you just get that energy boost flowing through your body again. Like, what do you need to do? Maybe for me, like, I just really wanted to get out and have fun playing pickleball on Fridays. There's a round robin that I can join. I would go in, I'd play with all different people all the time. We started to build like friendships there. I'd hear about their kids or grandkids. And I just really, really enjoyed that. And so that was important for me to structure that into my life, because most of my evenings and weekends are consumed with kids and travel, and or not travel, kids and sports, like traveling to their sports, all their things, and driving them around and watching their games, their volleyball games. And I just love that. But where was I going to fit in time for me? And because I'm an entrepreneur, I have the freedom to create that. And so Fridays during the day, because that's when the round robins were, was the perfect thing for me, because then I could get my work done during the earlier in the week, which meant that I needed to be a little bit more productive and focused. But also I got to give myself that gift of Fridays to play pickleball, to have fun, and to do something that I loved, and to be able to see the progress in like where I started to where I am now. So think about how you can structure your week to optimize your energy, or to optimize just how you're feeling. And then to carry back onto that last topic where we're talking about bringing someone in to help support you to delegate a little bit more, how can we also talk about building a team and setting realistic expectations for them? Does that help your energy levels to do that? So it really definitely helped me when I brought in my team in terms of like taking some workload off of me, but it also really helped me feel more confident in myself, but also in my business. So I really want you to start thinking about really all of those things. Like, are you getting joy and fulfillment in your business decisions? How are you structuring your week? And if you build a team, how can we build a team and set realistic expectations for them? Because we don't want to just take all of our stress and all of our like energy level stuff and then dump it on them. We want to set an expectation for them that will help them be successful, but also help ourselves understand what like they are going to do for us, and then they can understand what they are expected of. So we really want to talk about like focusing on growth that feels good, not just the revenue goals, because sometimes if it feels good and it's amazing, but it also like drains us and it's exhausting. Like I gave the example of both founders. Oh, that sounds so terrible to say that together, but it does. Like, I loved it so much, but at the same time, it was really, really hard on me. And so we really want to make sure that we are focusing on growth that feels really good, not just revenue goals, and then adjusting if we need to. So even if we have like amazing revenue coming from certain resources, if they are draining you, maybe it's time for a shift. And the next thing I want to talk about is kind of your negotiables and non-negotiables for balance and growth, because we can't create an aligned business if we don't really have non-negotiables that will support us in maintaining and creating a fulfilling life. So I want to give you a couple examples of my non-negotiables. One is to have a clear work-life boundaries. That was really important to me. It's probably something that I started to implement at the beginning of my burnout, because I really wanted to make sure that one, I had a cutoff time for my clients, but also a cutoff time for myself. And I think the myself part was probably the hardest. I did have a client that was really demanding, and so creating that boundary really allowed me to breathe in the evening, but also for myself to just like turn my phone off and say, this is like quiet time. This is when I can read or do a craft or watch a movie with my family or hang out with my husband. And it's still something that I definitely struggle with, because I do feel like sometimes we're on sensory overload. I think it's who we are nowadays, with so much like things right at our fingertips. But it really does make a difference, and it makes such a difference when you're going to sleep to have that time before where you are not work focused. You are not like in that hustle mode energy. So when you finally do go to bed, you're like, oh, I feel good. My brain has like had time to decompress after the day and stop thinking work talk, right? Okay, next thing, working with dream clients only. This is a big one. Like I said, I had some hard, demanding clients and I loved them. Don't get me wrong. I loved the client, like the idea of working with a client. Now that I'm no longer working with them, I realize how much energy they took from me and the type of people I really want to work with and the type of people I don't want to work with. So really think about who your dream clients are in terms of like what it is you're doing with them. Do you feel fulfilled? But are they your dream clients when it comes to your energy also? Are they amazing to work with, but also let you have your time off and are like celebrating you on your time off? Or are they still trying to like get as much time as they can from you? Are they challenging you on your prices? Are they saying, yeah, you're worth it and you're amazing. And so, yeah, you're worth that price point, right? Like think about who your dream clients are and how they fit into your work life, your business, and everything like that. Okay. The next one is prioritizing passive and scalable income streams. I love this so much. I just think recurring revenue is amazing. Passive income is amazing. And having these incomes be able to scale is so, so powerful. This is stuff that we create and then it's not like you're going to like, it's created, it's there, it's going to sell forever for life. No, it does not work that way. It is created and you still need to talk about it and share it with people so they know it exists and why they should like buy this course or buy this template or whatever it is. But it's your information. Instead of you going out and hosting a whole bunch of workshops, you can say, here, take this. This is what I have. If your clients are already asking you for this over and over and over again, hey, I have this like $50 bundle of information that you can buy and it is going to support your business and it answers every single question you have, right? Or if you're on social media and you always talk about a certain topic, but people keep asking the same questions, say, hey, I have this. You can find out everything in there. So think about how we can create some passive and scalable income streams that don't require all your energy, right? And I please, please, please do not listen to the people that are like, yeah, you create it, you can sell millions of it. It's still going to take work. It does not just sell itself. It takes you still talking about it, bringing awareness to it, and really telling people why this knowledge that you have is so powerful, important. Doesn't mean you need to devote hours and hours and hours to it, but it is something that you should spend some time on. And you can also create like automation around it so that maybe you do one little post on it and then the auto DMs and the link to get more information, which then adds them to an email list, which then gives them more information on the item that you're selling and options to buy it as they work their way through the email segments, right? So don't feel like this is like, it has to be a huge thing. It can be like a one and done sort of thing with the love of just sharing it. All right. Making space for creative projects and passion work. This is, like I said, I'm a creative person. I need to do this. I just love it to my core, but we really do need to make sure that we have something that we love that we get to do and we get to make time for. So whether that is for a special like passion project you're working on within work, or maybe it's just being able to go out and play pickleball and have fun or be able to travel more. We need to make time and space for these things. Even if it's like my workout in the morning, just make time and space for something that makes you feel good. It can feel like you're taking away from your work and you're not going to be successful or you're not going to grow as fast. I promise you, it's going to have that like reverse effect. When you feel good, you magnetize people to you. Every time I go on vacation, I always find that I come back and I'm like so energized and so excited about everything that I'm doing. And then I bring in new clients like every single time. And you bring in clients because they can feel you're like happy energy, you feel good and you're excited about what you do again. You're not burnt out. And so really make time for the things that you love because it really gives you so much more, I don't know, life, energy, magnetism, all the things you need for your business to be successful. So at this moment, I give you a couple of my non-negotiables that I use in my business. It's obviously going to change for every single person, but I think what you need to do now is take a moment to think about your business and your vision and what are some non-negotiables that you can implement. What are some things that you're like, I wanted to do this for so long and you just didn't? What are some things that you can start implementing? So now let's talk about a little bit of key takeaways because I feel like this is way longer of an episode than I planned on it being, but I just had so many examples in many different areas to share with you guys. And so I just want you to think like, what do you want in your life, and decide what success looks like for you. Like for you, what is successful? Not what everyone else thinks is successful. What for you is success? It doesn't mean that you need to be a millionaire. It means that maybe you just get to retire. Maybe it means that you just get to enjoy time with your family and take weekends off or take Fridays off, or maybe it means that you get to pick your kids up from school. I think you get to really decide what you want. And so one of my favorite examples, I know I'm tons of examples. One of my favorite examples though is from my parents. My dad had a successful construction company. I've talked about this in previous episodes, and he could have easily gone and scaled it to be this huge, massive company. We see so many huge, massive construction companies, but he didn't want that. He liked the way it was set up. He liked the way it had this is my perspective of him also. It was a smaller company with family values and the same core people pretty much the entire time. And we did really good work, and we weren't it just didn't need to grow and expand. Why? Why put all that extra stress on yourself? Why put all that on you when it was perfect the way it was, and it achieved the life that they wanted? It achieved such a dream for me to see what success is, to see what is capable and available to me. But also the fact that I don't need to be the biggest and the best. And yeah, I'm type A perfectionist in there. I definitely want to be the best, but we don't need to be these crazy expectations. What does it look like for you? And that's it. You just build your business in your life for you. Your business should be a vehicle for your dream life, not something that drains you and burns you out. And if it's draining you and burning you out, we need to stop and take a moment to look at it. You need to start designing your life and your business to align with your vision, your energy, and the freedom you really are craving for today and for your future. So I really hope today helped you kind of look at your business and decide what you want, but also figure out where it's burning you out. Because as entrepreneurs, it's so easy for us to get caught in burnout. And it's so important for us to realize that we get to design our business to reflect what we want in our life and the energy we want to protect and to keep and to grow. And so I really hope that this helped you. If you have any questions, always DM me. If you like this episode, please share it, and also tag me at Jen Kinal, because I want to see what you loved about it, what you want to hear more of. And I just want this podcast to be a place that you feel so supported and energized by. So thank you so much for being here today. I hope you loved it, and I will see you next episode. If you're ready to step into your boldest version of success, join me at the Be Bold Conference 2025 on October 7th at the Whitewood Barn. Surround yourself with ambitious, supportive women who completely get you, and let's build business that fuels our dreams, our lives, and everything we want. Fills our energy, our cup, our friendships, our financial freedom, our travel goals, all the things. We're going to talk about building that for ourselves. And so grab your ticket now and let's do this together. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, keep taking bold action and creating a business that lights you up.